A very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you all are doing good. Let's have a positive start. Bruce Lee asks us to be like water, to be flexible enough, just like water. You know, when you put water in a cup, it becomes a cup. When you put it in a bottle, it becomes a bottle. So just like that, you know, every single day, new opportunities are coming towards us. But if we will maintain our rigidity, then we will not be able to fit ourselves into these new opportunities that are striking us on regular basis. So let's all of us be and behave like water, flexible. With this, dear friends, we have many important articles to go through. This article is not important as far as your exams are concerned. Apart from that, all important articles are there on your screen. We'll go through it, but before that, let me tell you that today is last date of this 50% discount that we are providing on our pen drive and tablet courses. Make sure you check out StudyIQ.com. You can download the PDF of today's lecture from these two places here. Make sure you share this lecture with other students and don't forget to hit the like button. Now, our main fight for independence was against secretive British Raj government. You know, at that point of time, decisions were taken veil side, isn't it? Behind the curtains. It was behind this wall, or opaqueness was there. Transparency was not at all present when we were under, or our country was under, British Raj government. Then we got independence, and after that as well, we saw this colonial hangover shadowed us for a very long period of time. And this colonial hangover, as far as information and transparency is concerned, it was shattered by, or you can say a sort of attempt was made by this Right to Information Act 2005. With this Right to Information Act 2005, we got a new commission in our country. It is called Central Information Commission, right? CIC. And this is a commission that deals with RTI. We have this commission at two different levels, right? One is a central one for central government, for the nation, and then you have specific state information commissions as well, every state, just like something similar to election commission, isn't it? We have a central election commission, and then we have state election commissions as well. Now, it is in news because the government wants to make some changes, or government wants to amend this RTI law. That RTI law that is far-sighted. APJ Abdul Kalam once said that that day was one of the most, you can say, important as well as a very special day as far as his presidential life is concerned, or was concerned. He said that that day, on the day when he was supposed to sign this RTI, he was in office very early, 7 or 8. Mostly this bill comes to president around 10:30 or 11, but he was there in early morning just to make sure that this law or this thing should be signed as early as possible, because this law has truly empowered all of us, right? As a citizen, it has placed us back on this, you know, back on this place that in a democracy, basically citizen is the king, isn't it? So RTI helps us to achieve this dream, and it has opened so many wrong things, and you know, it has empowered citizens. And those days are gone when this administrators and these people in government, they were being, you know, not that nice, not giving you information, telling you get out or you cannot share things with you, etc. Those days are gone now. This has inculcated responsibility, accountability in government and its various branches. So I hope things are clear to you now. Now, as I told you that we have two different level of this commission. So let me take you through the structure, because it is very important to understand the structure, because what government is trying to achieve here, government wants to control tenure, salary and allowances of CIC, that is Chief Information Commissioner, as well as Information Commissioners. So from this line you can also understand that we have multiple commissioners, just like Election Commission, Central Election Commission. It has one Chief Election Commissioner, and then you have two election commissioners, isn't it? Here you have one Information Commissioner, and you can have not more than 10 Information Commissioners. At present, we have 8 Information Commissioners in our country, with one CIC, that is Chief Information Commissioner. Now, if they are appointed by President, there is a committee that comprises of Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha. If you don't have Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha, then you can take on board Leader of a single largest party in opposition. You can take this person as a member of this committee. Automatically that person becomes a member of this committee, and then you have one cabinet minister that is nominated by Prime Minister. So a committee of these three important members, this committee will send the list of names to President, and President will appoint them, this CIC and ICs. A person should not be a MLA or MP. He should not be associated with any political party. He should not be associated with any office of profit and things like that. So these things are very common that you find with other important offices as well. As far as tenure is concerned, right, 5 years max, and until a person attains the age of 65, whatever is earlier. So say for example, if you are 62, also are made this IC or CIC, and if you hit 65, that will be end of your tenure, or it could be maximum for 5 years. I hope these things are again very common, so not going too much into it. Now, as far as removal is concerned, right, you have to pay attention here that President has to refer the matter to Supreme Court for an inquiry. Now again, common thing that if you are mentally unfit, or if your behavior is bad and not doing your duty, or in corruption and money coming from somewhere else and multiple source of income and all these things, if there are there, then an inquiry can be conducted, and then Supreme Court will find out if the things are right. If you are not fit, then you will be removed by President. Now, as we are talking about these two levels, right, this is all about central level. What about state level? Very similar. Over here you will have governor rather than, or President will be replaced by governors. As far as state level commissions are concerned, rather than PM you will have CM. Rather than Lok Sabha you will have Legislative Assembly here, right. Apart from that, everything is same as it is. Yes, here when it comes to removal, rather than President you will have governor, but make sure you pay attention here that it will not be turned into High Court. Again, even if it is state level information commissioners, inquiry will be conducted by Supreme Court only. Now, as far as our rights are concerned, right to free expression, Supreme Court has clearly stated that Article 19, Subarticle 1, Subarticle A, right, which is about right to free expression, it clearly states that right to information is an integral part of right to free expression. I'll give you one example, right? I cannot share this views, I cannot share this Hindu analysis with you if media is banned in our country, isn't it? But media, by publishing articles, by speaking, by making videos, by making films, by painting, by other sources, what we do is we express ourselves, right? To express ourselves, we need information. It could be physical information, it could be this sort of information, news items, any sort of information. To express ourselves, we need information. If I block this supply of information, then of course you know that you cannot create, or it will become nearly impossible for you to create something. So this is how it is integral when it comes to this information. Right to information is integral to right to free expression. I hope this example will be helpful. Now, Centre is arguing that Election Commission is a constitutional body. So if you want to make necessary changes with Election Commission, then you have to go through this constitutional amendments. But IC, that is Information Commission, is a statutory body. That means it was created by a particular law. Right to Information Act 2005 created this Information Commission. So because it was created by a law, which we call it as a statutory body, the government is saying that it has all the rights to make necessary changes with this statutory body. Now, the big question is here that this is not just about a particular law, it is about empowerment of people. Now, this law is touching each and every one of us directly and indirectly. There is a PIL that is filed in Supreme Court by this National Campaign for People's Right to Information, and in its PIL, it has argued that there are 23,500 pending appeals and complaints. One of the main reason is lack of vacancies. And because of there are too many vacancies, not lack of vacancies, but there are so many empty posts in different election commission, beg your pardon, information commissions of different states, right? There are so many vacancies out there at central level as well. There are a few vacancies, and because of these vacancies, what is happening is that work overload is increasing day by day. At the same time, you find people are filing complaints and people are filing appeals, and there are so many pending appeals, and this is getting bigger and bigger, and this is distorting this whole, you can say, the purpose of this right to information. Section 4 of this law, this information RTI, clearly states that it should be a responsibility. Government should endeavor to publish information suo motu. That means rather than people asking for information, government should try its level best to pass all this information as early as possible. But what we find is that voluntary disclosure and detailed analysis or detailed information on website even today is still lacking, or in public domain is something that is lacking. Websites are a very good way to share information. Government should think about it. Government is trying as well. It's not that it's not trying. It is trying its level best as well to pass all this information to us. But still, because of all these issues that we have various different laws, and we all agree on this thing. I hope that when it comes to implementation, we are not that good. When it comes to creating strategies, we are very good, but when it comes to implementing laws, we are not that good. So something similar applies over here as well when we talk about RTI. As far as fines are concerned, I'm not sure if you are aware about this thing. Per day, 250 rupees to a maximum amount of 25,000 rupees can be applied, or this could be means officers who are not disclosing or passing you proper information. If they are giving you incomplete, vague or unconnected information, then penalties can be forced on them. But hardly we find these tough actions are taken. So this is again one of the reasons, because of this chill out attitude that we find. What we need to change as far as our RTI is concerned, that we need to make it a bit more easier. You should be able to apply online. Apps should be developed, right? Applications, mobile apps. We need to make it more online. This statement is very important. Publish information suo motu, so that lesson means very few people, or there are very few chances where you have to apply for information and apply for seeking information, of course. And then you have this, we need to make sure that, say for example, political parties and all those different departments, of course you can understand, we are not talking about departments that are engaged with national security like RAW and intelligence bureau. We are not asking their data, but we can of course ask for how bureau chiefs are appointed, so all those departments that are out of its reach, they should be brought under this CIC. And I will say that CIC should be made a constitutional body. If we make, or if we dilute this RTI Act, then it will be a big blow to transparency as well as freedom of expression. We have one news item that I have clubbed here. You can see here that CIC R.K. Mathur is on leave, and at present this information commissioner Sridhar Acharyulu has also expressed his you can say concerns regarding amendment that government is trying to introduce with this RTI Act of 2005. Now we have two international topics which are directly as well as indirectly associated with our country, right? First one is about dealing with Taliban, and how to deal with Taliban. Now you know that Taliban is a dreaded organization. It is supported by Pakistan. Let me give you a brief history of this region here. Since 1979, relationship between Iran and USA, right, deteriorated, and they are at its worst under Mr. Trump. This region here, Turkmenistan and north part of this region, is called Central Asian region. It was under influence of USSR. I'm talking about history. I'm not talking about current scenario. So it was a big no for USA to enter these countries here. Then you have only one option left, and that is Pakistan. At that point of time, India was not that important, and because Pakistan is sharing a land boundary with a landlocked country called Afghanistan, the best option for USA was Pakistan. One thing, if you are not aware about, then let me tell you, after UK, probably Pakistan is the oldest friend of USA. So Pakistan was the only option left, and since then we have seen that Pakistan was supported by USA for various different reasons, right? One was Afghanistan, and means it was because of Afghanistan and Cold Wars that were going on. So USA has supported Pakistan with money, with technology, with weapons and all these things. And we also know that how Pakistan has used this money, technology and other things against our country. As far as this Taliban is concerned, from last 17 years since USA invaded Afghanistan, to get rid of this Taliban, it has failed so far. Back in 2017, August 2017 to be more precise, Mr. Trump came out with this new Afghan policy. At that point of time, during this policy, Mr. Trump said that back in 2017, August 2017, he said that Pakistan is a rogue state and they need to make sure that they are not promoting or giving this breeding ground as well as this hiding place for this Taliban and other banned organization. He talked many things, right? Big words were there, but so far we haven't seen, it was all barking and no bite. Because now what we are finding, that a country that was claiming that it is going to end Taliban, it is going to destroy Taliban, it will never engage with Taliban as far as this negotiations and talks are concerned, that country itself is preparing a ground to have a direct talk with Taliban. So this is a big thing, not only for Afghanistan but also for us as well as for the whole world. That why USA is engaging with Taliban. Initially, Mr. Trump, when he unveiled this policy at that point of time, we were so happy, but now we know that it is getting a bit worse and it is getting out of control. Now you can see here, this is a map on your screen. Please make sure that you spend at least 10 minutes after this map, study it. You can see here that roughly speaking, I can say 50% or half of Afghanistan's land is under Taliban's control, and it is getting bigger and bigger, as you know that it is supported by none other than Pakistan for very rogue reasons. This is the thing, and you would be wondering why I have not provided a latest 2018 picture, because you can see here that USA has stopped releasing figures as far as number of terrorists are concerned, number of population of the Taliban is concerned, number of fighters they have and number of fighters these Talibans have. These informations are not easily available now. Data and assessments on strength and combat capabilities of Afghan military and police are no longer readily available amidst reports of severe erosion of their fighting capabilities. So these are the things that are coming out, negative things. As far as figures are concerned, we don't have the latest one, but this will give you a rough idea. Now in 2014, this NATO North Atlantic Treaty Organization, it pulled out of this Afghanistan, and since then USA is, you can say, looking after Afghanistan, and it is trying to eliminate Taliban. Now United Nations report indicates that this opium production, narcotics and other substances, like Afghanistan is a big hub for this sort of production. And the bad thing is that 63%, there has been a rise of 63% of cultivated area if you compare the figures of 2016 and 2017. And this money is used for purchasing weapons and spreading propaganda and other things. Now, as I was talking about this support that Pakistan has always got from USA, it is not more Islamabad, it is more Rawalpindi. Rawalpindi is army headquarters of Pakistan. So it has got all this money and technology, and many a times a sort of shoulder as well for Pakistan at international level. That was provided by USA, and this sort of things were misused by Pakistan to create troubles in Kashmir. Now the America, right, at present, recently when Nikki Haley was here, she said that They are ready to work with India to develop this Chabahar port, because Chabahar is a gateway to Afghanistan and a very good option for USA as well. But if they are going to apply sanctions and other things, then this is not going to help us. By diluting his stand, Mr. Trump has, created, or you can say Mr. Trump is in his foot is in the strap of Pakistan. That's what they want. They want this troubles in Afghanistan to carry on, so that they can get money and technology and other things from this world leaders, and they can enjoy this thing. They can do this troubles, and they can spread this terrorism and other things. They can pressurize India because they are supported by other countries. Money is coming from somewhere else. So we have to be very careful here as far as this article is concerned. We are moving on to another topic: meddlesome and more. You can see here, this is Finland, and this is Finland's capital, Helsinki, a very big city, a very beautiful city as well. Though I have never been there, I have seen many good pictures from this Helsinki. It was in news because two giants, USA and Russia, and their leaders, they met here for the first time after particularly after Mr. Trump became Prime Minister, and recently Mr. Putin again was re-elected. So this was, you can say, their first interaction, official interaction, proper bilateral interaction, and it is in news because Mr. Trump rejected this claim that Russia has interfered with 2016 election. We talked about this thing earlier on as well. Remember, I told you that no one will, it would be a fool of Mr. Trump if he says that yes, I got elected because of this interference from Russian agencies. The other thing is this statement that has been given by Mr. Trump has created a bit of protest back home for him, against him. And people are saying that this input was provided by CIA, considered as one of the best secret service agencies of the world. But it's not always right, because 15 years ago, CIA was very positive about Saddam Hussein and him, Saddam Hussein having these weapons of mass destruction. But what we found later on, that he was not having it. So it's not that they never go wrong. They have gone wrong, and this has created many troubles in Iraq even today. And of course, it is part of this diplomatic decorum as well as etiquettes that when you are in a joint press conference, you don't throw mud at each other. There are other important issues between these two countries, like Ukraine is there, Syrian issue is going on for a very long period of time, nuclear disarmament is concerned. USA is a stakeholder in making sure that this Korean Peninsula is denuclearized. Russia is sharing its border with Korea, so it's a very important country for Russia as well as a neighboring country. So you have big issues in front of you, but it's very sad that media was just focused about this presidential election thing. Now, the big question and what we can learn from this article is that is it the first time that we are finding this sort of reports that big countries are interacting or interfering, with each other as far as these elections are concerned? Not at all. At the end of the day, every country will look after its own back. It will make sure that its foreign policy and its objectives are achieved, and for achieving these objectives, many a times we have seen this thing back in history, that countries will take unethical ways as well. Like as far as this, if it is a big concern, if it is a big thing for USA, then if you go through this figure, these are official figures, you can of course understand that you can add 2 or 3 more. I don't know whether you can add 20 or 30 more, but safely I can say you can add 2 or 3 more countries as far as this 81 items are concerned, because from this period 1948 to 2000, USA has interfered with 81 different countries. 81 times it has, not 81 different countries, but it has interfered in elections in different countries 81 times. Same applies with Russia, 36 times. So they are not that clean, and election meddling or interference is nothing new as well. As I told you that it is all part of this foreign policy, and to making sure that their interests are protected. But the thing is, you go back in 2014, we find this tape that was a discussion that took place between very important officials of USA about impeding this Viktor Yanukovych, who was president of Ukraine, and after that Russia was not happy and it annexed this Crimean portion. But why this protest? This is the main question here. The protests are going on because if you go back to USA, you find that when it comes to foreign policy, when it comes to a nation, every country, you will find this thing that different political parties, they will become one. They will speak like citizens rather than political parties. So there was a consensus, that Russia is a rogue state and Russia is doing this and that and things like that. But when Mr. Trump is saying that no, it's not involved, it is basically, projecting Republicans as well in a bad light. So this is a reason why there are protests going on. Now, Russia and USA relationship, you know it very well. So it could be a reason, right, that because of this trade wars that are going on with China, European Union, Canada and Mexico, Mr. Trump would like to, of course, he cannot make it cordial, but he can make it a bit less tough. So it could be his try. Not that important, but as far as your exams are concerned, not important, but as far as awareness and our life is concerned, yes, it is important. Now see, there are so many people out there. If I'm not wrong, we are number one people. We are number one country as far as the number of people dying because of snake bite is concerned. And there are so many snakes as well that we kill in fear to make sure that they don't bite us and things like that. Now there is a company in Karnataka, it is claiming that they are producing a sort of stick with the help of which you can keep the snakes away. They are saying that it will produce a ultrasonic sound of more than 20 kilohertz. But the thing is that snakes cannot hear anything. In fact, they can feel vibration, and they can, they can sense this low frequency sounds of less than 1 kilohertz. So this is how it works with snakes. So don't know how they can keep the snakes away. But one thing that is very important for the safety of our farmers and people who are living in countryside, right? If they are loitering or if they are going in any place where you have, chances of this sort of reptiles biting you, then you should make sure that you carry a torch, particularly at night, so you don't step on a snake. And you should preferably wear this sort of gum boots, right? They are, they are there till they cover your shin portion, and they will protect you. So this is a thing that is required, and as far as this stick is concerned, we need to do more research on it. Now this one is about tryst with trust. It's about fake news or reliable news versus proper, authorized, or you can say well researched, well confirmed news, verified news. This is a major difference between things that we find online. Most of the times you find that non-reliable sources are there. They'll write down anything. Anyone can write down anything. There are people out there who can just type, they are just looking at some stupid books or some stupid articles, and they can just type and they will add everything on their website. So without reference, right? Reference is a very important thing. Now, as we are discussing things here, so you know that as a reference we are taking the Hindu newspaper, and Hindu newspaper is of course a reliable newspaper. So without verification, right, or verification is a thing that differentiates this journalism from all other forms of communication. Now if someone is saying that it is raining outside and someone is saying that it is not raining outside, then it is a responsibility of journalists to make sure that he or she checks whether it is raining or not. If it is raining, then they should report this thing, and they should also make sure that they report this thing that the person who said that it was not raining at a given period of time, that person was wrong. This is also a responsibility of media. Multi-tiered process is very important because many eyeballs will go through this content, and this will make sure that it has gone through many filters, and that's everything. Whether it is public good or business, it is both. It is best of both. You have to keep a fine balance. You have to look after the welfare of people, because when you provide them with information and news, you transform their life, right? You transform their life, you empower their life. But it should not be based on money only. Money is important, but there should be a fine balance between both these things. With this, we have some important news items. We talked about this thing yesterday. It is about Alwar attack, right, of Rajasthan, and the survivor has given 5 names. Then you have this July 30 NRC list is only a draft, has been clarified by Mr. Rajnath Singh. He has said that this NRC is being updated in accordance with Assam Accord signed on August 15, 1985, and he has also said that Registrar General of India, right, that is going through this thing, has been watched by Supreme Court, so everything will be fair. He has also assured that no one will be deprived of their legal right. It is pertaining to this migration of people from Bangladesh around 70s, right, and to make sure that or to give this proper cards or this certificates to people of our country, and differentiating between citizens and migrants. And here you have a list of items as far as this GST and lowering its slabs are concerned. When I say lowering its slabs, I mean to say there are so many items out there. Their slabs are reduced by GST Council. So help yourself with this one. Spend at least 5 minutes after this picture. Mattis has said that we should consider, USA should consider about not applying sanctions on all the countries, right, as far as this card size is concerned. It is a good indication for India. 2+2 is going to take place. We'll wait and watch for this. China has offered fresh grant to Sri Lanka, 295 for building hospitals. I have a question for you guys. Highlight some major differences between Chinese aid and Indian aid given by, differences between Chinese aid and Indian aid given by both these countries to small and developing countries. What is or are main, you can say, differences between these two aids? And here you have one question. So I have one more question for you. Can you give me the name of a ministry that looks after Chief or Central Information Commission? Give me the name of ministry that looks after Central Information Commission. That's everything. Enjoy your day. Jai Hind.